Joining us now is the lawmaker who posed that question to the Attorney General. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island is with us now. Senator, thanks so much for being with us. You'd asked the Attorney General how many suspicious activity reports related to accounts of Jeffrey Epstein that AG Bondi or Director Patel investigated. What exactly are you trying to learn?
Well, they said that they wanted to do a real investigation of the Epstein files, and we know that they had hundreds of suspicious activity reports of activity in Jeffrey Epstein's accounts. So I've been trying to figure out how many of those suspicious activity reports they followed up on with any investigation. It sounds very much like the answer is zero, which would be extremely inconsistent with everything that's said about the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And since you played the end of that clip, let me point out that this supposed contribution that was made to me by some Epstein person is actually not true. It's false. So weird when an Attorney General of the United States comes to the Judiciary Committee and makes false allegations about a senator rather than, demonstrably false allegations about a senator, rather than answer a pretty simple fact question. Is there a picture or isn't there?
Bondi sort of questioned why Democrats generally had not raised serious concerns about the Epstein investigation itself before her term. She asked you specifically whether you had approached former Attorney General Merrick Garland about it over the last 4 years, whether in testimony or privately. I wonder if you did, and what you say to critics who argue that Democrats are only interested in the case now that Donald Trump is the president.
Well, yeah, it obviously makes a big difference when you have a professional Department of Justice and there's no alleged involvement of the President of the United States in a sex trafficking operation. There's reason to trust the Department of Justice to go about its business in its ordinary and responsible way. This is different. This is a MAGA Department of Justice conducting an investigation into a trafficking operation in which the President of the United States may well be implicated. And so there's every reason to pursue whether this Department of Justice is doing its investigative job or ducking its investigative work to protect the President who appointed both the FBI Director and the Attorney General. It matters when an investigation touches on the President of the United States in terms of having confidence in that investigation. So I had confidence in Merrick Garland and that Department of Justice to do ordinary investigations in the regular fashion. I don't with respect to this investigation, which touches on this president.
The AG and other Republicans have sort of flipped the argument that you're making, suggesting that the previous administration had weaponized the justice system. And yesterday you had the Senate Judiciary Chairman, Chuck Grassley, saying that the FBI, as part of Special Counsel Jack Smith's January 6th investigation, used court orders to obtain the phone records of 9 Republican lawmakers. Right now, there's no indication that the senators were targets of the probe, and Bondi is accusing the FBI of now secretly investigating Republicans. What do you make of those claims that this is evidence of the Biden administration weaponizing DOJ?
Well, the first thing we need to do is to find out what the facts are. If the facts are that the Department of Justice was pursuing legitimate subjects of criminal investigation into the effort to overturn the elections, and in doing so went and got the phone records of legitimate subjects, and when they found the phone records of legitimate subjects, they found that those subjects had called these senators. So they weren't the target, they were just on the list because the investigative targets had called them. If that's the case, we deal with this issue all the time with respect to FISA investigations and so forth. There's a big difference between somebody who is swept up because a subject called them and whether the Department of Justice is actually investigating someone. If I did mob investigations, we'd get the call information of the butcher and the baker and the candlelight maker who the mobster was calling, and we just dismissed all that. They weren't the targets, but they did turn up, and this may be nothing more than that. We will see.
When you say we will see, do you anticipate that those answers will be put forward by the administration? Are you expecting transparency?
I expect so.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, we have to leave the conversation there. Appreciate the time.